Things happen. They're preparing for that inside of Soundstage 12, which we're going to pass. We're going to pass by when we head down the hill into our studio, our front lots. And they're also filming the show Home and Family, which you can see on the Hallmark Channel. It's hosted by Christina Ferrari and Mark Steinis. So we're going to be entering a quiet zone as well. So let's wave goodbye. We are leaving the theme park behind. I want to introduce you to our driver. His name is Matt. I want everyone to say hi to Matt on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Matt. He's going to be keeping our show on the road, and I also want to introduce you to our co-host. It's star of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, SNL alumni, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey there, you made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide,
Justin.
and the greatest driver,
Matt.
They're the best. I love them. Even though Matt owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Oh, Jimmy, you got so much money. He's taking over the Tonight Show, by the way. Starting next year, he's taking over for Jay Leno, so I think you're off the hook with that $5. Now, safety, very important here on the studio tour. I want to make sure everyone's safe. If you just remain seated throughout the tour, that would be much appreciated, keeping your arms and legs inside of the tram at all times. There is an emergency cord. It's located directly above your heads. It runs along the center of the tram. If there's any kind of emergency, go ahead, pull that cord. Matt will stop the tram for us. I'll get off and assist you. Now, last year, 2012, was a huge milestone for Universal Studios. We celebrated our 100th anniversary. So now that it's 2013, we can officially say we've been making movies for over 100 years. And how appropriate as we take you down our timeline, you'll see some of the most iconic is the largest soundstage on our lot. It's big enough to hold a football field and a singing competition show. That's where they filmed The Voice. Tonight, the live show will be filmed right there. Now, Soundstage 12 is where quite a few blockbuster movies have filmed throughout the years as well. Classic films like Frankenstein and Dracula filmed there, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and of course The Voice. Now, The Voice isn't the only popular television show that films here on our front lot. They filmed Chelsea Lately here on our front lot. The Mindy Project with Mindy Kaling also films here. And over here on your left inside of Soundstage 25 is where they film one of the most popular television shows in the world, CSI. Now CSI occupies all of the sound stages on your left. They're a huge production. It stars Ted Danson and Elizabeth Shue. And 25, by the way, is our busiest soundstage, and quite a few blockbuster movies have used our Soundstage 25. In fact, that's where they shot scenes from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise. And we're going to be taking you through the plane crash set site from that movie a little bit later on in our tour. So we saw our biggest soundstage, we saw our busiest soundstage, and now we move on to our oldest soundstage. It's over here on your right. Soundstage 28. It was built way back in 1925, and that's where it still does house the famed Paris Opera House from the classic movie The Phantom of the Opera. Now since then you'll notice a theme here. A lot of creepy characters have called 28 home throughout the years. And that is no coincidence. They say a ghost has haunted our Soundstage 28 for many, many years. Now 27 over here on your left is not haunted, but quite a few blockbuster movies have used that soundstage as well. Like, once again, Jurassic Park, Apollo 13, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more recently, Snow White and the Huntsman, Charlize Theron and Kristen Stewart. And 27 is also where they shot the hit Showtime comedy series Weeds, starring Marilyn Louise Parker. Of course, many television shows have filmed here on our front lot throughout the years, lots of classics. And we are NBC Universal, one of the largest entertainment companies in the world. That includes many different television networks, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Bravo, Telemundo, Sci-Fi Channel, USA Network, E-Style, Oxygen, the Weather Channel, the Golf Channel, NBC Sports. And of course, one of the shows that currently airs on our NBC network is a fantastic show called Parenthood. Now, Parenthood does film here on our front lot inside of Soundstage 44 on your right. Now, TV shows like Parenthood, those one-hour dramas, here on your left, these are our production bungalows, and that's where some of Hollywood's top writers, producers, and directors work. And now, many years ago, the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, famed director of classic movies like Psycho, The Birds, Rear Window, he worked out in one of these offices. We're going to pass right by his old bungalow. It's 5195. Now, you'll know it's his bungalow not just by that number, but by the silhouette, his silhouette, which they place on the side of the front door to pay homage to the master of suspense. Now, Hitchcock's bungalow is currently occupied by Dino De Laurentiis' production company, and they're the production company behind the new Hannibal series, which you can see on NBC Thursday nights. Well, you know, Hitchcock's bungalow does mark the end of our tour. Offices, some golf carts. Well, here's where the excitement really begins. We've just entered our back lot, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot more to see here on the back lot. You know why? Well, the back lot is where we film everything outside. And we're going to take you through our Metro sets right now. We film everything outside on a large scale. Now, what you guys are seeing over here on your right, well, that's a mural of a city, but beyond the mural are what we call facades, the front and sides of buildings. And that's because that's all the camera really needs to see. We let your imagination fill in the rest. Now, some of these sets are also what we call practical sets, and that means we can film both inside and outside. Now, what may appear to be brick and stone, don't let that fool you. It's yet another Hollywood illusion. It's merely foam, rubber, and fiberglass. Now, this area here on your right, see that the stoops and the brownstones? It's called Brownstone Street. You see Brownstone Street many productions throughout the years. Here are just a few examples. Of course, it's characterized by those stoops, brownstones you often see. And you know what's cool about our Metro sets? They can double for just about any city, any time period. In fact, this next area we're going to show you has been many different time periods, all in the same movie. Now, how's that possible? Well, maybe if you had a time machine. Welcome to Courthouse Square. You might remember it as Hill Valley and all three Back to the Future movies, Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. You can see Courthouse Square and many other productions throughout the years. There it is once again, Back to the Future, the Clock Tower. But of course you've seen it in movies like Gremlins, Psycho Part 2, To Kill a Mockingbird, Bye Bye Birdie, blockbuster comedies like Chris Almighty, Jim Carrey, and different time periods, even the future. For example, that was the year 2015, Back to the Future Part 2, Flying Cars and Hoverboards. Well, guys, start spreading the news because we're about to take you to New York City. That's right, we're going to take you down New York Street here in our Metro sets. Now, New York Street here in our Metro sets is the most filmed street in the world. More television shows, more movies, more music videos, more commercials have filmed on this one street than any other part of the world. Now, speaking of New York, our co-host, Jimmy Fallon, of course, he shoots his late-night talk show in New York. And, of course, he got his start in New York City on Saturday Night Live.
Welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Well, it's got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Yeah, it's cool, guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Jimmy's right. They've made just about everything here, like The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, and also TV's #1 drama, NCIS, with Mark Harmon. Well, 1930s New York City, of course, was the setting for one of the great scenes from the movie King Kong. Well, here's director of King Kong, Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skull Island. Digital. In fact, the team at Weta won 5 Academy Awards for their works on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Avatar, and King Kong. Now, guys, you will not be needing those 3D glasses anymore. Please hang on to them. We'll be collecting them at the end of our tour today.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's kids from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature.
Cine car, it's what we call a picture car. And you guys are about to see some of the most famous picture cars in movie and television history. And of course, you cannot top picture cars these days without mentioning Fast and the Furious. Hugely successful film series. By the way, Fast and the Furious 6, which just came out in theaters, became our biggest opening ever. Now, speaking of popular film franchises, Jurassic Park, of course, hugely successful for Universal Studios. And we're going to show you some of the Jurassic Park vehicles as well in this next area of our backlot. So we keep a lot of our Jurassic Park vehicles
To Jurassic Park.
including one of my favorite picture cars in the Jurassic Park movies, the RV Lab. You guys might remember the RV Lab in The Lost World. That was his second Jurassic Park movie. And there it is. You're going to see it. It's coming up here on your left-hand side. It was actually featured in a really cool scene from the movie where it dangled from a cliff. Now, there's actually a couple of Hollywood illusions illusions in this scene. The first one being that was not a cliff that the RV was dangling from. That was a... Whoa! Did you see that? Oh my goodness, guys! There's some dinosaurs still alive here in Jurassic Park. The spitters. Dilophosaurus, that's what they call them. But back to the scene, there's actually one illusion, which would be that was not a cliff. That was actually a parking structure here at Universal. They just dressed it to look like a cliff. And the other illusion in that scene was the rain. It's not. You can't just snap your fingers and make it rain on cue. Nature does not work on cue. So if you have a scene that calls for rain, you better have a sprinkler system to create the illusion of rain. We call these weather effects in the movies, by the way. And speaking of weather, I have Al Roker, the weatherman from the Today Show, with our forecast.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Isla Nublar. That's your forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the lot.
Hey, that flash flood warning. Old Mexico. Oh. Well, guys, this is Old Mexico. This is the next stop on the tour. And he is accurate, man. Really good at his job. Now, as you can see, I'm not panicking right now. That's because I actually know a thing or two about the weather. They say flash floods are usually preceded by a low rumbling sound, which I don't hear. So I think we'll be fine. I just wanted to stop here for a few moments to tell you about a few things that filmed here recently. They did an episode of Community with Chevy Chase and Joel McHale right here in Old Mexico. And, many years before Chevy Chase was on Community, he did a movie here. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Course 3 and 4, are you okay? Oh!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Gentlemen, there it is. That was a flash flood weather effect.
That was a good
You've
movie.
seen it in movies like Big Fat Liar and Old Mexico. You've seen in TV shows like Community. And I was about to say that Chevy Chase shot scenes from Three Amigos right here in Old Mexico with Steve Martin, Martin Short, way before he was on Community. Well, guys, if you were in the real Mexico and you were to go north of the border, you might find yourself in the great state of Texas. Well, our backlot is no different. Welcome to 6 Points, Texas.
Big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal line.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Fallon are. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting's good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, Fallon.
Oh, you can count on me, Fallon. Again.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
All right. Yeah, Jimmy's right. These are some of the oldest sets still standing. These sets here in 6 Points date all the way back to the silent era of film. And that's when they could shoot 6 different westerns here at the same time. Because, as its name suggests, there's 6 different streets and 6 Points. And each street really was like its own town. It had its own bank, its own saloon, its own hotel. But from the Wild Wild West, we now take you out to the ocean over here on your left. Yeah, that little pond over there has doubled as the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. It's called Park Lake. And Park Lake actually often see in TV shows. For example, they shot this scene.
Look, there's sweet, sir. Oh, I talked to him, said the guy died in his arms.
That's with the FBI?
FBI, yeah, we're here about the human remains.
That's him. Right over there.
You alright?
Yeah.
All right, now that particular episode of Bones took place in Washington, D.C. Now, just by looking around, can anyone tell me where the current production that's filming here, where it is supposed to take place? Any guesses? There's maps, there's signs. San Francisco. Yes, whoa. Did you feel that? It's a little tremor. We get a lot of them here in California. Hang on. Whoa. Oh my goodness, guys. I think this might be the big one. Now watch out for that truck. Oh no, it's on fire. Whoa. Man, I think the floor is opening up, guys. Hang on. What is that sound? You guys hear that? It sounds kind of like a train. It's getting closer. You don't hear it? Oh! Uh-oh. Oh! That was close. Guys, I hear something else. You hear that? It sounds like water. Goodness, guys, we got the doors open. We're going to get you out of here. Is everyone okay? Do we have any doctors or any nurses on board? I hope everyone's okay. Here's the rest of that scene from Bones. Yeah, I know we do.
What's going on?
Incorporated it into that episode of Bones using some special effects, CGI, computer-generated imagery. Well, guys, the world is right around the corner here on the back lot, so welcome to Amity Island, New England. Now, don't worry, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that where Jaws lives? Anymore? They caught him. Strung him up there on the dock. He's no longer a threat to society. Although I have to say, that shark up there is kind of small. I remember Jaws. Don't you remember Jaws being bigger than that? Well, anyway, my friend George, he's in his scuba gear right now, making sure everything's safe. Hope he's not in danger. Is that a shark? Shark, George! There's a shark! Uh-oh. Okay, guys, don't panic. We're gonna take you over here by these gasoline tanks where it's safe. Oh, it never gets old. That's my favorite part right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaws. Don't tell me you didn't see a big movie star here on the studio tour. You just saw one of the biggest movie stars on the planet there. That is Jaws. Now that's his screen name, Jaws, but does anyone know his real name? Besides Matt? Okay, you can give the real name. Bruce. Bruce. He's the mechanical shark from the production of Jaws, and he is the hardest working shark in show business. But he didn't always work.
Much from a lion shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, it had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
How's lives?
The next morning, Edie Britt decided to announce her return to Wisteria Lane.
Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but she's back.
Edie, is that really you?
You know someone else my age with a body like this? Well, what happened to your tenant? He came into some money and decided to move. We thought, what the heck? Let's move back.
When?
Oh, you don't know. I have a husband now.
Really? Whose?
Oh, snap. Well, we began our tour at Wisteria Lane with the greenhouse here on your right-hand side with the treehouse in the backyard. That was Lynette's house, Felicity Huffman's character. Lynette lived in that house. Now, Bree, that was Marcia Cross's character. She lived in the blue house here on your left. Rick Laring on the bottom. Now, back to your right-hand side, we have the yellow house. That was Susan's house, Terry Hatcher's character on the show. It's another practical set. Used to be the Hardy Boys house many years ago. The Cleavers of Leave It to Beaver, they used to live in this greenhouse on your left with the white picket fence. Back to your right-hand side, we have a beige house. As we exit, that was Eva Longoria's house on the show, Gabrielle Solis, and of course many movies have filmed here throughout the years as well. This blue house on your right as we exit, that was the sorority house in National Lampoon's Animal House starring John Belushi. You hear all those sets.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
What the heck? Let's move back.
Oh yes, just a few of the sets from How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring Jim Carrey on your right. Now, if you guys thought living with the Grinch was bad, try living next door to Norman Bates. Just around the corner are two of Hollywood's most historic sets, the Bates Motel and the Psycho House from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Did you guys see that? That's him.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Oh no, he didn't. Okay, you know what? I'm thinking it's a good time to hit the gas and get out of here before he sees us. Not too late. Hey Norman, how you doing today? Good afternoon to you. We're just passing through, don't mind us. Oh, he's got a knife. He's got a big knife. Alright, yeah, let's get out of here fast. Okay, come on Norman, we won't say anything about the body, right guys? We can keep a secret. Just please, oh my goodness! Alright, yeah, you didn't get anyone. Okay. Okay, just make sure you get rid of the body, okay Norman? You can hear me? We don't want to be an accessory to your crime. Alright, stay down there. Well, you guys think this area is creepy? Wait till you get a load of this next area we're about to show you. It's a spectacular crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Well, that is an actual 747 that you see over there. It was destroyed specifically for this incredible scene from the movie.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. That's all right. That's all right. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Down close. Robbie, get in. Get in.
This is one of the largest sets ever constructed for film, rivaling only James Cameron's Titanic and Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. And despite the use of these lifelike, realistic sets, the film featured more than 500 special effects. Well, from the War of the Worlds, we now take you out here into the great outdoors. And yes, our log cabin on your right, it was, of course, featured in the comedy The Great Outdoors starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd. And since then, it's been featured in countless television shows that have filmed here throughout the years, like Coach, Craig T. Nelson, Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Desperate Housewives, just to name a few. But you guys are probably really wondering what that giant blue backdrop is out there in the distance. Well, the area right in front of it, that's another one of our oceans here on the backlot. It's called Falls Lake. And you've seen Falls Lake in many, many movies. In fact, Jaws the Revenge from 1987, that was the first movie to film out there when it was built back in the 80s. Now, since then, countless blockbuster movies have used our Falls Lake. That's where Tom Hanks did the splashdown sequence in Apollo 13. That's where Jim Carrey walked on water in Bruce Almighty. And, of course, where George Clooney survived that flood in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Now, the backdrop is that blue color. That's called blue screen, and that blue screen is used in post-production to create whatever backdrop the filmmakers want using CGI, computer-generated imagery. Now, a film series that is no stranger to CGI are those mummy movies.
Death will come on swift wings to whomsoever opens this chest.
Lots of groundbreaking special effects in those movies. So little known fact, the first Mummy movie was supposed to film right here in this area of our backlot, but so many weird things started happening. The cast and crew, they got scared and they moved the production all the way to London, but they left behind this incredible Mummy's tomb set, and I just want to make sure you guys get your money's worth today. Now guys, I've been through the Mummy's tomb many times. Nothing weird's ever happened, although I have to say the last time I was in here, I noticed a couple of bugs. Thought that was kind of weird.
Death is only the beginning.
Russian Mulacus.